What's up, guys? I'm back here with your tropical update for Saturday June 25th, 2016. Happy Saturday to you, everyone. As you can see here, not much to talk about today. We only have an invest. Do got an invest in the Western Pacific. Invest 96W, very disorganized. I think it will not develop into nothing tropical. Just very quiet in this part of the world. Very. The only thing we're watching is two invests. Invest 96W and another area to watch in the Eastern Pacific. As you can see here, Invest 96W is very disorganized. Look at this mess that's out here in the middle of nowhere. It's interactive with land. I don't know which one's the center. It has two circulations. This one over here and another one over here. This one and this one. I don't know which one's the center low, because one of these is just really disorganized. This huge mess over here. Why do I think I give it a 0% chance of development? Well, one, there's too much wind shear heading in this direction. Well, there's no wind shear. It's very disorganized. Very disorganized out here. Two, it's interacting with land. And when storms interact with land, they typically weaken and dissipate. And maybe there's a little bit of wind shear heading in this direction, and it could shear this thing. It's like winds over 20 to 30 knots, maybe, I think, and something not favorable for tropical development, but very unlikely to develop. Heading in the Western Pacific, sorry about that. I meant to say Eastern Pacific. Gee, cannot say it. Right. So, in the Eastern Pacific, we do got an invest. Invest 9, well, it's not an invest. We're in an area to watch, 10% chance of tropical development in the next 10% chance of development in the next 48 hours, and a 30% chance in the next 5 days. Heading in this direction. I don't know if it's going to develop. We'll keep an eye on it. For tropical development. For now, it's a little bit disorganized. There's lighter wind shear. I don't know if it's going to develop. It's heading in this direction. I don't know if it's going to develop in this direction. As it hits in this direction, there's like a lot of dry and stable. There's like a lot of stable air up here. So I don't know if it's going to develop into a named storm or depression. But it's pretty somewhat, if it's going to develop in the Central Pacific, it's pretty quiet. There's a lot of stable air sitting. Here's the Central Pacific Hurricane Center. Nothing, very quiet. There's a bunch of stable air sitting around Hawaii, up north, over here, everywhere, my God. And over here, we only got an invest, and we'll keep an eye on it for any tropical development in the next few days. See if this thing develops into something. If not, just keep worrying about something. So, moving along of the North Atlantic Oscillation, it's in a positive phase. About a week ago, it was in the negative phase. Slightly negative, not that strong. If it was largely negative, it would have been favorable for tropical development in the main development region and the Eastern Caribbean. But since it's up here, it'll go down, some like a neutral, and some of them take it back to positive, and some of them take it to the negative phase. It's pretty unlikely. Well, and it's ridiculous over here. How can some members take it to one of these? I think it'll be around neutral at that time. That's what I think. And for the Arctic Oscillation, same area. It'll remain positive until the first week of July here. And that a positive Arctic Oscillation will mean a stronger Azores high, just cranking the winds off Africa and just shearing, just bringing a lot of stable there, just sitting in the middle of nowhere. And trade winds, they will typically bring dry air to the main development region and cool the water off. Not favorable either. In the Magellan-Julian Oscillation, the MJO, right now, not really. It's pretty weird. Yesterday it was showing, it's pretty strange as you can see here. As we go out to day 5 over here, as you can see here, by the time we get to day 15, wait, this is today, by the time we go, this is today, very dry air. We got higher than normal pressures sitting everywhere in the Atlantic today, as you can see here. And by the time we get to day 5, you can see the pressures, the higher pressure starts to weaken. And then by the time we get to day 10, you can see that the Eastern Pacific really starts to crank up with you can see that convergence, lower than normal pressures, and rising air starts to develop. That's what the green color would mean, as you can see here. And by day 15, it's in the Atlantic and the Caribbean itself. It's in the main development region and the Atlantic. This goes out to day 15, which is on July 10th. This is on July 10th. 15 days from now. It shows a bunch of moisture showing up off Africa and the southern Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean itself. So we're going to keep an eye on this by the time we get to July. Maybe by the time we get to the end of July, maybe we got to keep an eye on it, because this is interesting. Now this goes out to 40 days from now. This will go out to 40 days from now, because look, this is what as you can see here, by the time we get to because by the time we get to the second week of July here, you can see the precipitation it's in the Caribbean, maybe west of the main development region, then really starts to. So we gotta watch these areas. And this is from the first week of July to the third week of July. So we gotta keep an eye on this region over here. Then, something like on the first week of August, it shows nothing over here, just neutral over here. So nothing to watch. Also, La Nina developing, it's struggling, but it's getting there. But it'll take forever because the Pacific Decadal Oscillation still holding steady in its warm phase. So it'll take a lot of time to develop into something. As you can see here, positive. The only thing very quiet in the tropics. The only thing is this disturbance in the Eastern Pacific and Invest 96W, which is very unlikely to develop. And also want to take you out to, by the time we get to the first week of July, the GFS is hinting something. Well, let me go up to time here. So you can see here, you can see this area over here. You can see this area over here. You can see that this is the first week of July here, and look at this. It shows a tropical storm out here in the Eastern Pacific. And this is, wow. We got our first name storm this late in July. We never had our first name storm in the Eastern Pacific this late in the season, in July, in the Eastern Pacific. And we were, oh man, The latest on record was on June 15th. So this could be the latest first name storm on record if it develops in July here. This is something to watch. And I don't know if it's not going to threaten land. And for the next 3.5 weeks, the Atlantic remains quiet. The only thing